Daenerys, you here yet?
If the slavers'
No more
forces...
talking from you. Your talking gave us this.
And I have acknowledged that. I'm
Trying
trying
to tell me what the army should do. You do not know what the army should do.
All right. What should the army do?
We will not go to the beach. If we go to the beach, the masters will take the pyramid. The pyramid is the only place in the city we can defend. We stay here.
And then?
We wait for them to come to us. And we fight them.
Meanwhile, the people are dying. What was that? Did like a stray thing hit them or something? I don't understand. What could have reached up here? Daenerys! I'm back! Oh, so that was Drogon landing. Bye, Drogon. No, just burn all the ships. Dang it. What? Wait, is this the yellow? This is the guy. He's being hanged. Oh, Beric Dondarrion.
Okay. The fuck you doing here?
Chasing them.
Yeah.
You?
Hanging them.
Any particular reason?
They attacked a nearby sept and murdered the villagers.
That's
Why
right.
do you want them?
Same reason. They're mine.
It's the Brotherhood's good name they've dragged through the dirt.
Fuck your name, they're mine. Killed you once before, Dondarrion. Happy to do it again. Drop that arrow, you bloody girl. Tougher girls than you've tried to kill me.
You can have one of them.
One of them. Is that good enough?
Two.
Two. I want this one.
No. We're not butchers. We hang them.
Hanging. All over in an instant. Where's the punishment in that?
They die.
They all bloody die. Except this one here. I've only got one of them.
No,
No.
Chop off one hand.
we gave you 2 of the 3 out of respect for your loss. That's generous.
He wants to brutalize them.
Bunch of nances.
Oh, freaking
The time I
Sam.
would have killed.
You're a fighter. You were born a fighter.
And we need
You
fighters.
walked away from the fight. How did that go?
Yeah.
Good and bad, young and old. The things we're fighting will destroy them all alike. You can still help a lot more than you've harmed Clegane.
Is this the Lady Crane? I'm scared. Oh no. Oh no. Lady Crane's dead. This is the
If you'd have done your job, she would have died painlessly.
Where's Needle? Whoa. Over or under? Nice. She's going over, right? Yeah. Nope. Slip. Wait. What if the one in front of her's... What if... I don't know. I'm scared there's another faceless man waiting for her. This is making me very uncomfortable. Jeez. You're not gonna break any bones? Bloody orange. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Did any of her wounds open back up? Arya, get up. Get up. She's here, get up. It opened up again. You're not outrunning her. You need to fight. Where the heck is Needle? Where the heck is any weapon? She left the blood mark on purpose. I'll snuff out that last candle. She add the waif's face to the wall.
You told her to kill me.
Oh, jeez.
But here you are. And there she is.
You're telling me that was your plan?
Finally, a girl is no one.
A girl is Arya Stark of Winterfell. And I'm going home.
Yes. He smiled a little bit. He wanted this to happen. Yeah, she's going home. Woo! Alright guys, that was probably one of my favorite episodes. Just there were some very human moments and a lot of humor. I really enjoyed it. The faith comes for Cersei, but the mountain takes care of them. That guy's jaw just went flying. The mountain does seem like it could be stronger or more durable than before his operation. I know when Cersei asked Qyburn if the mountain would be weaker, he was just like, oh no, and I thought it implied that he could be stronger, but it seems like he is. Tommen abolishes trial by combat, and Cersei looks like she's trying to like catch his eye pleadingly, but he won't even meet her eyes. Like, he knows what he's doing. He knows the consequences of what he's doing. She knows that she has no chance if it's a trial by 7. Is that what it's called? There's a combat one where 7 people fight 7 people, but then there's a trial where 7 septons preside. They both sound like they should be called. They could be called trial by 7. But yeah, the septons are not going to give her a favorable verdict, so she's screwed, and not in the fun incest way that she likes. But she does talk to Qyburn. She asks him, like, is it just a rumor or something more? And he says it's more, much more. And for the life of me, I have no idea what they're talking about. Like, did I forget something from an earlier episode? I remember, like, probably more than a season ago, like, Qyburn was treating her for something, and I wasn't sure what she was being treated for, and now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been a cover for something else. I actually think it's much more interesting that it's not a trial by combat. Like, who could the Sparrows possibly call upon that could match Gregor friggin' Clegane? No one that we've heard of before, and it would be anticlimactic for some new person to show up, so I guess they could have made Loras' atonement to fight for them, but like, it would be a rematch from season 1, but Loras would lose spectacularly. It just wouldn't make sense. But yeah, Varys is leaving Essos to find friends and ships in Westeros. Does he not know that Yara and Theon are coming? Like, his vast network of spies didn't suss that out. But yeah, who could he convince to join Daenerys? And will it still be the Lannisters everyone is fighting against by the time Daenerys arrives? Assuming it's still the Lannisters, the Starks would get on board. The Boltons would get on board too, since they betrayed the Lannisters, but I'm hoping it's the Starks getting on board. The Stormlands won't, because Tommen is a Baratheon. The Freys wouldn't be on board either, because they're allied with the Lannisters. The Tyrells and Martells seem like they would be on board, though. And whichever Greyjoy group doesn't reach Daenerys first, the other will most likely side with the Lannisters. So it'll all be very interesting. They really paid off on that Tyrion, Missandei, and Grey Worm banter from a couple episodes ago. Their games never came to be, but their jokes, amazing. I loved that scene so much. You don't get to see like everyday things happen in TV shows enough. Like, it's always all about the action and driving the plot forward, but I love like everyday things like this. The only reason Missandei and Grey Worm didn't want to drink and joke beforehand was because of pressures from others. And yes, Tyrion applied some pressure too, but it was for them to let loose and, more importantly, to be more themselves, to enjoy themselves. And after Grey Worm says that the wine tastes like it has turned, like, Tyrion doesn't push him to drink more, so I think what Tyrion did was okay, like perfectly okay. But Missandei clearly liked it. She was like shyly drinking, like sipping the wine. It was really cute. Yeah, she was just, it was fun. And those jokes, those masterful jokes, that's the main reason why this was a two-parter, guys. To keep as much of that scene in where we get to see Grey Worm and Missandei just enjoying the little things. Missandei's joke was so her. Like, it was kind of funny, but not really. And then Tyrion like forced his laughter, and I can get him bored with that just because he was trying to encourage her and not make her feel like she failed when she tried so hard to make a joke. But then Grey Worm saying it was the worst joke ever. Oh my god, Tyrion, you was like, you lied. He's like, no, I make a joke. Oh man, that was great. And then I really, really loved that Grey Worm saw Missandei laughing and it made him smile. Oh, my heart. So sweet. But of course, we are interrupted from hearing the honeycomb donkey story. What the heck could that be? But it's because the Masters have come. So much for Tyrion's plan. Like, at least it gave them peace long enough for Daenerys to arrive home. She can do some serious damage. I wish Drogon didn't fly off, though. Hopefully she'll be able to get Viserion and Rhaegal to listen. Maybe take out the Sons of the Harpy once and for all. And the Dothraki, I'm sure they're close behind too. So this is going to be pretty epic. I don't know what to expect in the next episode, actually. Is one episode going to be like Jon versus Ramsay and then Daenerys versus Masters in like one or the other? I can't wait, though. Can't wait. So the Brotherhood didn't sanction the killing of Sandor's group. That's nice to know that not all of the Brotherhood was going around doing things like that. It seemed antithetical to their mission statement, so it's nice to see that they didn't tolerate those guys' actions. Like, they were meant to protect the people, and they see their true mission now is to defend the wall. So this could mean quite an addition to the Night's Watch, so that's awesome. Now, can Ed effectively lead all of these men, though? Like, I have a hard time imagining some of these Brotherhood taking orders from him. And the last thing I want is another coup. Actually, with the way it's gone the last several seasons, somebody probably mutinied and Ed has already been dead for a while. Like, I'm partially joking, but still. Sandor and Beric Dondarrion's interactions were great. Thoros of Myr too. What the fuck are you doing here? Chasing them. You? Hanging them. And I caught it in editing, but Sandor was eating something and he says he prefers chicken. Such a callback. He's just like, I got you for a chicken with Arya and I forgot the guy's name by now. It's been a while. But it seems like Sandor is at least considering joining the Brotherhood. He probably will refuse to be called one of them, but he probably sees it as a worthy fight. It doesn't lead into his motivation of hatred, but maybe his desire to protect is stronger than his hatred. River Run was surprisingly fascinating to watch. We had some nice reunions, Pod and Bronn, Jaime with Brienne. Pod was talking about how he's been training to fight under Brienne 2 hours a day. Bronn still takes him to school, though. Your feet are about a yard apart. Smack! And Pod's head just kind of like lingers there. It's just like... He's like, damn it, I should have seen that coming. After Brienne and Jaime's talk, I was afraid she'd have to fight him. But with the whole castle laying down arms, it didn't make sense for her to do that. And so she left. And they waved goodbye. And Jaime, he brought out his dark side with Edmure, though. I don't know if he really would have catapulted Edmure's son and killed all the Tullys just to get back to Cersei. I mean, he tried to kill Bran, but I wanted to believe he grew a little in captivity and on his journey with Brienne. But you know what? I buy it. Cersei is in danger back in King's Landing, and he loves her more than anything. He'd go back to her. He would do anything to go back to her. I thought in the moment that he was just exaggerating to scare Edmure, but yeah, he'd do it. I guess in this situation where he's trying to threaten Edmure is actually a plus that people think he's an oath-praying, king-slaying monster with no honor. I know Edmure didn't doubt for a second Jaime would do those horrible things, which, yeah. Edmure's years in prison, though, have brought out a different side of him we haven't seen before. I remember the first time we saw him, he was like missing Hoster Tully's ship thing that he was trying to like hit with a flaming arrow. And then the second thing, he was just like, I took the stone mill. The look on his face when he saw his wife's face for the first time was just gold. And he was complaining the whole time, going to the twins, and one look and he's like the happiest little boy in the world. And now to Jaime, he's become so hardened, and I understand. He was just like, you must understand on some level that you're an evil man. And then, like, how do you live with yourself? You have to sleep at night. I really wanted Jamie to respond, "I sleep with my sister. That's how I sleep at night." But sometimes something that just reinforces what we know about the characters in the show. Jamie goes through all the ways Cersei and Catelyn would protect their children with great ferocity, start wars, release people they hate, and the next line he says I feel like is super important: the things we do for love. We. So he's including himself too. He's just as fierce, though he doesn't have that same love for his children, I don't think. He's simply just talking about Cersei. He's looking after Cersei. And it's a great callback all the way to the first episode of the series when he pushes Bran out the window to keep him and his sister safe. The things I do for love. So I've thought a lot of things about Jamie before. I would use a lot of different adjectives to describe him, but fierce, I don't think I've seen too much of that side of him until now. And when the one he loves is under attack, he goes all out, and he immediately demonstrates his fierceness with his threat to Edmure. But I feel really bad for Blackfish Tully. His reintroduction felt like the coming of something epic, and then he went down fighting for his home off screen. He was saying how they could hold Riverrun for 2 years, and it fell in like 2 days. It makes sense that the men listened to Edmure, but I just didn't want that to happen to Blackfish. Jamie had Edmure's son, though. He had to listen, even though he's never met his son. Actually, could that be a lie? We've never actually confirmed that he had a son. We've only heard that he has a son from the Freys and the Lannisters, and they have a vested interest in lying to him. What if it was all just a ruse to get Edmure to cooperate? That would honestly be like really, really smart. And I'd be mad at them, but I'd also be really impressed. It does seem more like a Bolton thing, though. A Bolton method of deception, though, so I don't think that's actually the case. But if it is, very impressive and infuriating. Finally, we get to Arya. Oh, man. She tells Lady Crane that she wants to go further west than Westeros. I would watch that sequel if they made it. It'd be so disappointing if she just wound up right back on the eastern tip of Essos, but I'm curious if their world is like our world. Like, is it round? Is it just flat? Is it a sphere, or is it more oblong, or this way? Speaking of which, do people in this universe use the stars to sail? I haven't heard any mention of that, but they could still do it, and just we haven't heard of it. But first, Arya is going back to Westeros to take care of her family. And the people off her list. But Lady Crane's last performance, she got to act the hell out of it and be true to the character of Cersei. So it was a nice moment for her. But just how good is she at patching people up? Like, I liked her, but oh my god, what was that about, like putting holes in her men and then like patching them up? That is some get me the heck away from her kind of thing. Like, she does patch up Arya incredibly well. Like, Arya should have been like bed rest for like weeks. But yeah, it'd be really amazing if Lady Crane wasn't actually dead and she shows up in like season 8 as a faceless woman. I can't go around assuming everybody's a faceless man though, or else nobody's deaths would have consequences. Like, was Ned replaced by a faceless man before he had his head chopped off? Was Joffrey? Are they both still alive somewhere? Did Jon really die, but he's been replaced by a faceless man? Ooh. Like, you could justify that no one we have seen die is actually dead. Robb and Talisa were replaced. They were in training with their son Eddard as faceless men themselves. If only. But yeah, Arya running from the waif was incredible. I was thinking that she should have been dead the whole time, and the patches, she finally bled through after a while, but I feel like she should have broken multiple bones when she ran away though. Like, that tumble down the stairs, that's really bad. But she gets back to her hideout with Needle, and she takes out the light from the candle. It's perfection. And she brings the waif's face back to the room with the faces. I find it really interesting that Jaqen just lets Arya leave. I mean, he was unarmed and she had Needle, but like, he had a smile on his face, which seemed to indicate that he was kind of on board with Arya reclaiming her identity and leaving. I mean, he had to know like all along that her thirst for vengeance was too strong for her to ever abandon. So now I'm questioning whether he knew all along this would happen. Maybe he thought the waif was like annoying and wanted her dead, and that's why he gave Arya the faceless man coin to begin with. Like, come train so you can get rid of this annoying girl for me. But is it part of the many-faced god's will for Arya to go back to Westeros and change the fate of the world? And again, I asked in a previous episode, how does the White Walkers coming down past the wall affect Essos? Could the White Walkers make their way across the narrow sea if they had ships? If the fate of humanity depends on stopping the White Walkers, do the Faceless Men come to Westeros to help? I mean, changing faces isn't going to help that much in a war against whites and White Walkers, unless they can wear the face of a White Walker. That would be incredible. But they're all incredibly skilled fighters, so at the very least, they'd be helpful that way. But yeah, too many awesome things happened this episode. I'm going to give it 4.5 direwolves. I almost want to give it 5. Arya taking down that smug waif. The things happening at Riverrun were super fascinating to watch. Daenerys came home. Again, I loved watching Tyrion getting Missandei and Grey Worm to relax a little. And yes, Tyrion messed up negotiating with the Sons of the Harpy, or the Masters rather, not the Harpies. But I hope the repercussions for him are not too rough, and I hope that they can all have fun again at some point. That was so much fun to watch. And Tyrion doesn't really have any friends in Essos now that Varys went back to Westeros. And yeah, I don't think I've laughed that loud in an episode yet, and this series is great with its humor, so that's really surprising. Sandor Clegane trading barbs with Beric Dondarrion and Thoros of Myr was really good too. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite season so far, and we're not even at the end yet. We haven't had the big battles. But yeah, we're going to have Daenerys wiping out the Harpies, I'm guessing, and we're going to have Jon versus Ramsay. I don't know if they do a full episode. If they do a full episode for each, I'm going to go nuts. But yeah. I'm so looking forward to watching more, and at the same time, I'm not, because we're running out of episodes. I need me a sequel where Arya goes west of Westeros, but I did see an article before I even started watching the show that there has been some casting for a prequel. I wonder if it could be set west of Westeros. Oh, and if something is west of Westeros, does that become Westeros, and then Westeros becomes like Centauros? What? Never mind. I have 9 episodes left, and then season 8. I don't want it to end. But yeah. Alright guys, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to watch the next 3 episodes right now, make sure to check out Early Access on Patreon in the link in the description below or over here. Thanks for watching. Bye friends.